Coffee and, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question to the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee and panel.
Good morning to you. It is Coffee and time here on ON Radio. It's Thursday morning. It's May the 29th. Thanks for joining us this morning. And at the coffee and table, besides myself, I'm Joe Callahan. We've got attorney Bob Liner. Good morning to you, Bob.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Good to have you here with us. Sue Tester-McKenzie from the Blackstone Valley Call-In-Times has joined us. Hello, Sue.
Good morning.
And a special guest, Woonsocket Mayor Chris Beauchamp.
Good morning, everybody.
Is here with us this morning. This is great. Nice to see you, Mayor.
Thank you.
All right. So,
and the mayor has preempted all the questions that Sue and I had for you.
Oh,
we were going
darn.
to nail you to the wall.
So
with
we're just
all
going to
kinds of
sit
stuff.
back and have coffee.
Right.
because last week, Chris, we had to explain to Bob what the tush push was in the NFL. That took a good 10 minutes to explain it. But I think we got Bob on it, ready to go. So
That's good.
I haven't used it yet.
slight.
I haven't used it yet.
Don't use it in the office, Bob.
I strongly don't. Right?
Only on a 1 foot yard line.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
I told you one variation of the tush push. There's another variation of it
Yeah.
where I told you where the quarterback handed off to the guy behind him.
Right.
Sometimes the quarterback keeps the ball, and the guy standing behind him, he does the pushing.
Okay.
So there's two versions of it.
two versions.
Okay. You all set now? Or do we have to go over it again?
Man, I know more about football now than I knew ever
You ever
before.
wanted to know?
He can't wait for opening season, so
Oh,
he can.
well.
Going to be
you know,
watching for that play.
He is.
It only happens once or twice a game, so if you're lucky.
Ah.
All right. Well, Mayor, this is one of those mornings where you say, boy, I'm glad I'm in Woonsocket and not in some of the other towns in the Blackstone Valley. And we'll start in Cumberland. Part of High Street in Cumberland is blocked off. They had a train derailment overnight.
Wow.
Well, yeah, about 10 o'clock last night. Providence Worcester Railroad train derailed. Six cars. And if you go on like WPRI's website, Channel 12, you can see them. They're all tilted over.
Yeah.
And 2 cars of plastic pellets, 2 cars of auto racks, and 2 cars that were empty. And last I knew, the plastic pellets were still leaking out.
Those are probably going to the plastics group in Woonsocket.
Well, I'm not sure which way that was going. And they do say it's unclear where the train was headed at the time, but neighbors tell Channel 12 it's very common for the train to pass by at around 10 o'clock at that time of night. So High Street, which is and Titus Street, that's where the detours are. This is like we mentioned earlier, it's down where the near Ann and Hope. It's in that general range of High Street.
Did it
Yes,
give
Bob.
any indication as to what caused the
No,
derailment?
well, no, it's way too early. No injuries are reported. Investigation has started into how it derailed. So we won't hear that for a little while. All right. And Chris, the other situation, I don't know if you call it a problem. Some people would call it a problem. Be glad you're not in Lincoln, because Lincoln Animal Control is searching for an owner of a ball python snake. It was found in the middle of Angel Road on Wednesday. One of our snakes is missing, and a big one.
Wow.
Ball pythons are commonly kept as pets due to their docile nature, and they are legal to own in Rhode Island. So,
I'm not
Nothing-
a snake person, so I'm glad it's not in Woonsocket.
so no laws are being broken, Bob. You know, some people like to carry you get these really
Exotic animals.
animals that we gotta have.
Right.
We gotta have a kangaroo, or something like that. Well, in Rhode Island, it's okay to have one of these snakes. So if anyone has any information on who the snake's owner might be, they're asked to contact Lincoln Animal Control, 401-333-0950. Do you know anyone in Lincoln that owns a snake?
I don't know anyone who owns a snake anywhere.
No, okay. Well, then you don't know
Occasionally you
about
see
it.
them, people at Autumn Fest walking with them on
Yeah,
their necks.
I have
occasional
seen
you'll
that
see
too.
it.
They wrap them around their necks
Yeah.
and hold them out on both ends.
Okay.
Big, huge yellow ones.
Yeah, yellow.
I'm
I
going
was
to
just
wrap
going to say.
a snake around my neck.
Yeah.
Yes. You need to have your insurance really paid up by that time, because
I don't know. I do remember.
don't they constrict and they can
Well,
tighten around your neck?
boa
and-
constrictors do, but I don't know what a ball python does.
Right.
I'm not up
Okay.
on my snake
Like,
Swallow
biology.
snakes
like you know
whole.
how there's dog training, there's this training.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any snake
There's no
training.
snake training. No.
That's what I'm saying. So to say if it's known to constrict, as Bob said, you can't make it not constrict. That's
All right.
that's
You
what
can't-
they do.
You can't speak to it. Say, okay, stop
right,
that.
Right.
You're hurting
That's
me,
what I
stop.
mean.
You're hurting me. That's right. So, I've always heard people say, snakes' brains are very tiny, even with these big ones, and they don't really like us humans when we're keeping them as pets. Yeah, we feed them, and they're okay with that. But if they have the chance to get out, they're getting out, and like this.
Right.
They found it. This snake found its way out somehow, or maybe he was released. I don't know. And then they're not going to come back. Oh yeah, we usually get food over there, so we'll just go back to the house. No, they're snakes. They're out.
Yeah, they're not
gone.
doing that. They're heading to Lincoln Woods,
Yeah, that's right.
which brings together a whole new set of problems.
So here's a good law situation for you, Bob. A Providence man was arrested for an alleged incident down at University of Rhode Island. Video voyeurism. And it gives you all sorts of questions of how in the world could this possibly happen. First of all, the man is 29. He has absolutely no connection to URI. He's not a student, and he's not a staff member. He doesn't work there. He just doesn't. So he was arraigned. He was released on bond. He'll be back in court in July. He has no affiliation, and it's an active investigation. They say it was an isolated incident involving one victim, and from what I read, somehow he got into one of the dorms, and he got into the girls' bathroom. Or no, they have unisex bathrooms.
Yeah.
At URI. So now he waits in one of the stalls, shower stalls, I should say, and some girl comes into the other shower stall, and she starts to shower, and then she notices a phone coming underneath the stall. I thought the curtain would go all the way to the floor, but I guess not. And when she saw that, she screams, and now he runs out, and somehow they got him. So what if it's all true and he's convicted? What kind of sentencing is someone like this looking at, Bob?
I don't know whether or not that's a felony or misdemeanor, but it sounds like it's a felony.
Does
And-
Should be.
Yeah.
And therefore, it's penalties at least a year in jail.
Just makes you wonder how in the world did he get into the dorm in the first place?
I don't know what security they have down there now. Of course, back in the 100 years ago when I was there, along with Abe Lincoln,
There was no
there was no security. You just walked into the building.
Well, just going by, just taking my daughter out of Bridgewater State a couple of weeks ago, everyone that walks in needs a card. Well, not me. Everyone that's rooming there needs a card to buzz in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to make an assumption that they have that too now. You just can't walk up and open the door and waltz on into the dorms.
I would imagine
at
so.
any college. All right.
I have no idea how he was able to get in.
All right. Let's move on to the mayor. How are you, Mayor?
Good morning.
So we had you on with the Memorial Day celebration. Well, I don't know if we call it a celebration, ceremony at
Yeah.
World War II Park. That went very well on a very nice day.
Yeah, we had a lot of people there. It was a solemn day, as you said, and I think I said that also because, I read an article about Memorial Day and what it means. And, when you think about it, you say Happy Memorial Day, but for some people, it's not happy. It's,
No.
Right.
it's a remembrance of who they lost. And, so it's a solemn, sad day, even though we're celebrating the life and the heroism of all these people that, served in these conflicts and are not here anymore. But, yeah, it was a great event. The park is beautiful. And then UVC Council unveiled the new banners that we're going to put up, which I thought were great. I had mentioned that I was at the Cape last weekend for a wedding, and I saw those similar banners I think we were in Hyannisport,
Okay.
in their downtown area. And I said to my wife as we were driving, I said, look at how nice these are. We're going to get these. And I forgot that they were in the works.
I was going to ask, did you know it was already
Yeah,
coming?
so I think they're going to be a great asset to the city. And, I think people are going to really love them when they go up.
Can you tell us about the banners?
I was
I'm
just
not
going to
aware
say,
as
yeah,
what
are they
each
So
the
the
one-
light
banners were
banners?
made with UVC, United Veterans Council, in coordination with Senator Murray, and some of the state legislators got some money to help them make these banners, which depict fallen heroes and a little history of who they were. So Jimmy Ray, which was the only still missing MIA that came from Woonsocket, he's on one of them. And so they have their picture when they were in service. So it's back and forth on both sides. And it just gives you a little history of, we're going to put them up in the month of May, I would assume, and probably October and November for Veterans Day. So we're going to have them on different banners throughout the city.
Are
They
these-
have 8 of them made, and we're going to continue making them.
Are these banners go across the street, or are they
So
on
on light
poles?
poles, similar to
okay.
say, welcome to Woonsocket,
Yeah.
downtown historical
Cumberland's got
Woonsocket.
some.
It's
that-
probably like a 8 foot by maybe 2.5 feet wide banner.
Oh,
8 foot
nice.
long. Yeah.
Okay.
Able-
Now, are
easy to see
they,
when you're
um,
driving.
Are
Gotcha.
they?
I don't know if I have a
How
picture.
are the veterans chosen? Are they those that just never came home? Are they
It's
just people
all
who
different
served?
veterans who have passed away. So
Okay.
they could have been killed in action, missing in
Okay.
action. So we're celebrating the lives of people that are no longer here. And I think they got a list of, I don't know, I think there were a couple, 300 maybe.
Oh, there has to be. I mean, like
In
my
Rhode Island
dad. My
alone.
dad was a paratrooper.
Yeah.
He passed not in the war, but he served.
I'm not 100% sure. It's probably some type of lottery they
Yeah,
just
I'm sure
pull
there
out
has to be
have
some.
random.
There has to be something that.
But the families of surviving family members that were around came, and we
Nice.
recognized them.
very
and
nice.
So yeah, I thought it was a great tribute, and it added a very nice touch to the whole ceremony. Where, like I said, you never forget. Just don't remember these people on Memorial Day or Veterans Day. We should be thinking about them every day for what they've done for us to be free.
And for the first 8, I mean, you go back to World War One.
Yeah.
There's a World War One veteran that was, what I think they said this person, I can't remember their name, I'm sorry about that, but they were killed 3 days before the armistice
Yes.
started. I'm like, no.
3 days he was
Jeez.
coming home.
And then so World War One, World War Two, Korea, Vietnam, and all the way up to the Beirut bombing that took
Afghanistan,
place. Yeah.
Beirut, everything. So they're gonna memorialize people from all different conflicts, which I think is gonna be a great. And the banners are beautiful. I mean, they really distinguish the individuals that they're depicting. It's not a lot of words, you know what I mean? So. I
Now
thought it
we
was
did
great.
that at the call many years ago. We had Terry Now, I believe was his name. But
The sports writer.
you know who I'm talking
I
about.
sure do. Was-
He did phenomenal work for veterans features in our paper, and we would run it like every Monday. And exactly what you're saying, you know, the picture, a little bit about the person, and we had like maybe 6 each week, and we didn't have to rotate them. We just kept getting new ones, and it was such a nice piece to the paper. So I can imagine what those banners
I
look
just think that, some of the banners we've had, obviously if they're out there for a long time, year after year, they get weathered and tattered, similar with the American flags that we just put up, right? We got new ones. You can tell the brand new ones are very bright and clean. So I just think it's nice that we kind of transition into other things besides, welcome to Woonsocket's great, and welcome to downtown and Autumn Fest and Polar Express. So we're going to continue to highlight the positives in the city of Woonsocket.
So those are the
And-
streets that are going to go on: Social Street, Main Street.
So I asked the families to give me some suggestions where they think they would want them. I thought the Court Street Bridge, which is a highly prominent area coming in and out of the city, would be probably the first area to put those 8 up, four
Okay.
on each side
Sure.
maybe. But I said I'm welcome to suggestions, and some of the people took me up on it and going to give me a call.
Oh, okay. And I know at the ceremony, they asked if any veteran families, if you hadn't heard about it and you would like a family member on a banner, to fill out. There was a form they had to fill out.
applications to give to people, yeah.
and
So a bunch
people
of
fill 'em
people
out?
took them. Yeah, a bunch
Oh.
of people took them, and for the next round, we'll have 8 new people.
All right, fantastic. We're going to take our first break here on the Coffee Ad program. More coming your way. And if you have any comments or questions, especially for the mayor, give us a call, 766-1240. We'll pass the message along.
ON Radio.
Whoa. More fiber?
What?
Down here, buddy. It's me, your spoon. Constipation with belly pain still coming back.
Yeah.
Talk to your doctor. It could be irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, but Linzess could help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
WOON Radio.
It's Coffee and on ON. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan along with Bob Lauder, Sue Tester McKenzie, and Woonsocket Mayor Chris Beauchamp. And Sue, time for your first message from the Blackstone Valley Call and Times newspaper.
Good morning. So Father's Day kickoff contest is today. So be sure to go online, www.woonsocketcall.com, to enter to win one of 3 gift certificates from the participating sponsors. If you need anything with regard to the office or the call, missing subscriptions, give me a call at 487-4136.
All right, every time we've had the mayor on the last couple of times, we always said, okay, mayor, tell us, what can you tell us about the new supermarket? And you couldn't tell us. But now the word's out.
Yeah.
That the new supermarket that's coming to where Sears was on Diamond Hill Road is called Daily Stop. And have we got a date yet then? Now we got to look at dates of when they can
I'm
open for
told
business.
late summer, early fall for an opening. It's not set in stone yet, but they are acquiring permits to do the rehab of the building. They've been in City Hall. So it's Daily Stop, as you said, is the name of the market. They're going to have a 30,000 square foot market, 30,000 square foot distribution center for their other stores there. And I'm really looking forward to it. I've been to the one in Providence. It's beautiful.
It's big and bright.
It's big, bright. They got a lot of product. And you know what? The people were very friendly. I didn't tell them who I was. I was just walking around. And the guy came up there and said, "You guys are coming to Woonsocket." He says, "We heard that. We're excited." So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great asset to that plaza.
How many other stores do they have in Rhode Island? Do you know off the
I
top of
believe
your head?
10.
That many?
I believe
wow,
10.
I didn't think it was that
Yeah.
many. Wow.
Some of them are more of a convenience store type, little general type thing. But I don't know how many markets. I think they have 3 or 4 markets and then smaller.
But now Woonsocket will become the distribution point for all their stores.
For all their stores, correct. Yep.
Does that mean there'll be 24 hours in the
No.
distribution center?
We're going to, I think they limited it to 10 or 11 at night to deliver,
Okay.
to come back and forth. But we're going to work out those details.
Okay. Do you know what kind of refurbishment they will make to the building? Anything to the outside?
I don't think they're doing too much to the outside. Maybe some new windows, new door entrances, that type of stuff. But, it's basically a brick building.
Yeah.
I think they're going to do some repairs to the roof in some places, but not much to the outside. New signage, obviously, that type of stuff. But overall, that whole parking lot's going to be redone at some point, new
Yeah.
landscaping. So that whole plaza is going to be uplifted and refurbished, which is going to be great.
All right. And if you want to visit the Daily Stop in Providence, easy enough to get to. It's go down 146 and get off at the Admiral Street exit. Okay? Picturing it, Bob?
I can picture that so far.
All right. When you come up to the lights,
Yes.
go straight.
Yep.
And it's
Okay.
the next left.
Oh,
It's
all
on
right.
Whipple Street.
Whipple
Yeah.
Street, yep.
Okay.
You can't miss, and the big signage is out, Daily Stop. And
Bob-
I was down there too, and what amazed me, I was just looking around at their fresh meats and stuff, and boy, if you like catfish,
They got everything.
they've got it.
Yeah.
Wow. Now,
All
what
individually wrapped. I'm like, good
what's-
size. Wow.
type of store would it compare to, like with regard to markets?
I would say like an Aldi's, something in
Okay.
that size. It's not a BJ's, or it's not a Walmart type of market or Stop and
But
Shop.
it's not
even.
right.
It's
Okay.
smaller, same product as a Stop and Shop, just on a smaller scale.
On a smaller-
Probably close to the Price Right size, maybe a little bit smaller.
Okay.
But-
More like an Aldi price rate
Yeah.
pricing
Pricing wise, yeah.
comparison.
Yep.
And I've talked to other people that have been there. They were very impressed with their produce
Yeah.
section.
Good.
Produce, meats, very clean, very easy, accessible. Like I go to Dave's Market, which I love, but Dave's Markets, if you ever notice their aisles, they're small,
Yeah.
they're narrow,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's tough
Which
to
one do you
maneuver.
go to?
I go to Cumberland, one in Cumberland, and sometimes in Smithfield. I've actually talked to them several times because they got 2 in Smithfield, right next to each other.
They get two
Yeah, well,
Daves,
one
yeah.
used to be just a meat market
Yeah.
years ago, many years
Yeah.
ago. And it's funny you say that because I drove by there the other day and I was like, wow, it's still the meat.
So we're
You know.
still going to have conversations with them. I met the general manager, so hey, you never know.
Competition is good, right?
Yes, yes.
All right, you brought something in with you, Chris, that we're going to show on if you're watching online. New newsletter from the city.
Yeah, so Margot Morisseau, my human service director, who's multitask, very talented, is putting together a newsletter which will highlight some of the great things coming to Woonsocket. As you see on there, we got the Veterans Corner that we celebrated on Memorial Day. Below that is welcome to the team, 4 new officers from City of Woonsocket, 4 new police officers that were
They're done with their training and everything?
done with their training. And it's funny you say that because I was at the police station on Tuesday getting my car fixed for something. And the chief came out and he said, Mayor, you got a minute? Come on inside. And I said, yeah, okay. They were doing more training where the officers were getting tased as part of their training.
Oh, so you watched it?
So the last officer, the female, I forget her name, unfortunately. Actually, it's right here. It's Alexis Maxwell. She was getting tased, and it was kind of funny when they hit her with the taser. She screamed a word that I can't say right now, and they helped her down.
I know that word.
Yeah, and they all got that part of their training. Then they bring them to the hospital, check them out, make sure their
Right.
pulse and heart rate and everything's good, and that's part of their training. I never knew that.
So,
But, you know,
so they know what the person's going to feel when they get tased.
As the police chief said to me, he says, it's great we have these new tools because back in the day, as we all know, they had billy clubs, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, you hit somebody in the head with a
You
billy
can
club.
wrestle a billy club out of somebody's hand, too.
And it got to be a little bit dangerous, but it was very interesting. So this new newsletter is going to be once a month. We're going to put it out there, and it's just going to tell you highlights of what's going on. Like for today, the dog park, which we have down on Davidson Street. We had some complaints earlier in the year about, it gets a little muddy when we get rain in the spring, and it's used tremendously. There's a lot of people that bring their dogs down there. So the entrance to the dog park where the fences are, we put wood chips down, and it helps a little bit. But now we're pouring some concrete to make an entrance with a walkway. So, you get your dogs off the leash. You're not standing in the mud or whatever.
Okay.
So we're doing updates where we can, and that was a suggestion by a bunch of volunteers that are helping us kind of clean up that area, so we don't have to have public works people doing it. But we're improving things where we see they need to be improved, and that's one of the things I wanted to highlight.
Where can we get copies of the newsletter?
Well, it's not, this is just a prototype, so we don't have them yet, but I would say for the month of June, we'll have one. They'll be on the website, we'll have them at City Hall, and we're going to send them out by emails to people, and we'll make sure people have availability to get it.
Neat.
Yeah.
Great.
In the newsletter right there, if you can't read it, says Mayor Beauchamp in the news. You were down on Channel 12 Studios doing a little interview with them.
Yep.
How'd that go?
It went well. I was in traffic for an hour for a 3-minute interview, so it's all
tough
good.
to get these Providence.
I usually am pretty punctual at getting in places, so they said to be there at 10:04, so I left like at 3 o'clock. I got there like a 1 minute of 5:04, like right on time.
Quick, mic up, stand
And the
over
girl,
here.
the girl said, "Okay, we'll be with you in about 15 minutes."
All right.
I'm like, "You told me to be here for 10:04." I said,
They do
she
that
said,
on purpose.
And that's what she said, because she said, "You're the only one that's been on time." So I said, "Okay," but it went well, and it was just a kind of Kim Kalunian, I believe her name
Yep.
was.
Yep.
She was very nice. 3-minute interview, in
All
and
right.
out. And
What were they asking about?
so they asked about the audit. They asked about, I can't remember exactly right now.
Went so
but
fast.
it was a 3-minute interview. They asked about the audit. They asked about
They asked about the supermarket. I remember
supermarket.
that.
They asked about, things that are happening in Woonsocket. I mean, I could have gone on for at least 5 minutes of good stuff happening, but it was good. I mean, somebody said to me, Chris, you look good on TV. You're not a suit, coat, and tie guy. I said, listen, I'm not that kind of guy. So I got to compliment the way I look.
Oh,
so,
great.
hey.
Looking at the back of the newsletter, I was wondering if this was happening Independence Day celebration.
It
Coming
is.
back to Woonsocket, just talk about that for a little bit, Chris.
Yes, so we are having Independence Day celebration again, like we do every year. I know some people are a little upset about the firework type stuff that we have because of dog issues. They don't want it, hurting their dog's ears and whatnot. I get it. We looked in doing a laser show type thing, and the cost was double or almost triple the amount of money
Yeah.
as a fireworks are. So for now, we're continuing the tradition. Can't please everybody.
Absolutely.
We do
not.
the best we can, and we're moving on, and that's great. We're advertising soccer kickoffs for soccer for kids at our soccer complex. So we're going to be promoting a bunch of things that people may not know about, but they can see it in this newsletter and ask questions if they need to.
So Independence Day celebration is Thursday, July 3rd?
Yep.
And where?
It is at World War II Park.
Okay, and that's where the fireworks will be shot off from over there?
Yep.
All right, and you're going to have food trucks and a band?
Food trucks and a band like last year.
Okay.
It was a great celebration last year. They had a great band there. I don't know what the band is again, but maybe it's the same band. I think it is, but it doesn't say live band. I believe it's the same band we had last year, which they were phenomenal.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a good
Are
time,
the
and
food
hopefully
trucks
the
right
weather.
there in the parking
Food
lot?
trucks in the park, like adjacent to where the stage
yep.
is.
Two quick questions.
Go ahead, Bob.
One is, where's the soccer field going to be?
It's at Walney Complex on David Street where the dog park is.
Oh, okay,
The
great.
soccer field's up there near the bike lane.
Second
like that.
question, why is the Independence Day on July 3rd?
I think July 4th is everybody's working. We do it the day before,
July
that type of thing.
4th is on
It's a
a
Friday, that's
Friday.
right.
Friday.
Oftentimes, based on other cities and towns have told me, the reason they have to do it on a different date is because they're
Availability.
booked elsewhere.
Availability.
So,
Oh,
yeah,
all right,
so that's
okay.
why you'll see them sometimes
They can't be
3rd,
everywhere.
4th, 5th
Yeah.
Okay.
for the whole
They
weekend.
can't be
because
everywhere.
of it.
Correct.
All right.
There's only a finite amount of companies that
Right.
set off fireworks.
There's not that many left, believe me, because when
All
we go
right.
out to bid, it's the same two people that bid it every time.
Yeah.
They're from far away.
Wow.
Yeah.
One's from New Hampshire, who I think we used the guy from New Hampshire. And it's the same two people every year that bid.
I had no idea it was difficult to get fireworks displays.
Well, even the parades, when you do them, I don't care if it's 4th of July parade or St. Patrick's Day, same thing. They have to do all different days because the bands that they want to be in the parade and all that's.
Oh,
there's
all right.
only, yeah.
I read an article not that long ago, that they have trouble getting the product, the gunpowder and stuff to make fireworks.
Right.
I
Really?
guess China
Doesn't
is
want to
the
sell it
major
anymore?
supplier of the one of the components, and they can't get it here. So
Wow.
that's why there's not that many people that do it. There used to be a lot of family-owned businesses, but the cost got prohibitive, and they can't get the product to make the fireworks, and it was
Oh,
very
no,
interesting.
that's going to work out for all those stands that you see setting up for
Yeah,
the 4th of July all over the place.
looking forward to it.
That's why, if you like, the Clydesdale horses, the Budweiser Clydesdale horses. Bob,
Right.
Okay, if you want them in a parade, they're up in New Hampshire and they're available, but they can only be at one parade per day. So you gotta stretch it out, and they're a pretty penny too, by the way, if you want to get the Clydesdale horses. So,
It sounds like it's going to be a great time, though. Yes.
no, I'm glad
Well
it's coming
pledged.
back.
Pray that the weather holds out, and if not, we get the rain date.
I used to have them over at Barry Field, but how are things going with the construction over at Barry Field?
So they haven't started the construction yet, but I believe it's going to be starting midsummer. They were working out some final details with some of the architecture, building design type stuff. I've been to maybe half a dozen building meetings with them. It's going to be great. It's going to be real nice. We met with Queen of Martyrs about possible coming through the back of Queen of Martyrs for a walking path to kind of cut off the corner. But I don't know if that's going to work because of some liability issues and people behind the school. So we met with them, with the school department in my office, and we had a very good conversation. It's amazing when you sit together in a room, I don't care who you are, and discuss what you think are, maybe some obstacles or whatever, and everybody there putting their input, and we reverse what we thought we were going to do because
This
it
is a
wasn't
better
in the
idea.
it wasn't in the best interest
Yeah.
of everybody. But that's the way I like to try to do things. I'm not always successful, but that was a good meeting, and I'm glad we had it.
Can you
Okay.
refresh my memory. What are we doing at Barry Field?
New elementary school for replace 3 elementary schools.
Real
So-
state of the art schools
Yep.
coming.
Great.
Yeah. All right, and they haven't knocked down the stands at the football field yet, have they?
They have not.
Okay. So
Because
it hasn't started
they're
yet.
still using it for Redskins and stuff now.
Okay.
But I'll tell you, the new athletic complex, I took pictures. I was in there last week. I go there 2-3 times a week. The grandstands are up. The scoreboard is up. The lights are up. The press box is up. They're
Great.
really moving.
Super.
We aim to be ready for the first game in September.
All right. Is there any time capsule over at Barry Field we need to worry about, like at McCoy Stadium?
I don't know. Maybe. We'll see when we start digging up.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you knew ahead of time. Oh, yeah,
don't.
there's one somewhere near the 50-yard line. but
Right, yeah, so
just
you
not
would
quite
Could
sure.
be.
It's like who do you tell that you're doing a time capsule? Somebody's going to know that there's a
That
time capsule.
that it was buried there.
right.
Depending how long ago they did
Right,
it, there may not be
exactly.
anybody around.
Nobody's around to tell you.
That's
so.
right. Okay. All right, we're going to take a break on the Coffee and program. More's coming your way, but Sue, time for a second message from the Blackstone Valley Call-in Times.
Well, once again, Christina has been out due to medical. She is working, however, but she is working remotely. So if you need anything from the office itself, a back issue of the paper, an obituary, or whatever you need, please call my cell phone at 401-487-4136.
Very good, Sue. And this weather forecast is being brought to you by Unbound.org.
More clouds than sun today with a high of 63 degrees. Tonight, mostly cloudy skies, overnight low of 55. Friday's weather, more clouds than sun, high of 75, but your chance of showers is only 20%. Friday night, 70% chance of showers before midnight, and then thunderstorms are possible in the wee hours of the morning, mostly cloudy with an overnight low of 57. Saturday, high of 69, 80% chance of a shower and thunderstorm. Saturday night, 60% chance of rain. Sunday, mostly sunny skies at a high of 68. Monday, mostly sunny and a high of 70. Tuesday, sunny with a high of 74. And on Wednesday, mostly sunny skies, high near 77.
Outside the Navigate Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner, Park Ave, Kennedy Street, cloudy skies and 59 degrees. A girl in Kenya dreams of becoming a doctor. An elder in Guatemala dreams of being part of a community. Reach out and change the world, and it will change your own at unbound.org. They've reopened. The Museum of Work and Culture has reopened. That's great news. The museum is resuming regular visiting hours, 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m., Tuesday through Friday, and 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Come explore the lives of immigrants at home, work, and school through the museum's 9 immersive exhibits. Admission is still just $10 for adults, $8 for students, seniors, and veterans, and free for children 10 and under. And free audio tours are still available to all guests. Tickets to the Museum of Work and Culture can be purchased at the door or online at rihs.simpletix, that's Tix.com. The Museum of Work and Culture is located in Market Square, 42 South Main Street, Woonsocket.
Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogies with onions and what they call dirty sour cream. Or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported foods. Open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 9 in the morning till 6 p.m., Wednesdays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays from 8 to 5 p.m. It's Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse. Follow us on Facebook and learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street, Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
Lou Mandeville here to tell you the only place to get your local high school and college scores, as well as the Pats, Bruins, Celtics, and Sox is on my morning sports reports. And they are right here on ON 1240, Monday through Friday on the Morning Fun Show.
When you need a skilled attorney who will fight for your rights, look no further than attorney Bob Lauder of Woonsocket. If your legal questions revolve around estates or trusts, then talk to Bob. If you're contemplating a divorce, then talk to Bob. Attorney Bob Lauder has a calming demeanor, which is very helpful in legal matters. And Bob has more than 40 years' experience practicing law. Call Attorney Bob Lauder today at 401-762-4550, 762-4550. The Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice.
ON, AM, and FM.
All right, it is Coffee and this is Joe Callahan. We're here with Woonsocket Mayor Chris Beauchamp and Sue Tesher McKenzie and Bob Lauder. And Bob, we just heard you commercial for you, but we'd like to hear your ad. So tell us about your law office, please.
Thank you. Good morning. Attorney Bob Lauder. When I was beginning to prepare the commercial to read this morning, my legal assistant, Yulia, suggested I discuss the issue of banning student access to cell phones in schools. Now, as you may be aware, this issue has become the subject of legislation in various states, including Rhode Island. The proponents of the ban argue that student access to cell phones during classes reduces distractions for students and improves academic performance through a more focused concentration on the lessons, and may also increase social face-to-face interactions between students. However, cautions have also been voiced that some respected studies, such as Yale Medicine and the U.S. Surgeon General, have found that social media use aimed at making healthy connections with others may actually be beneficial to some people. One of the most important issues to be considered in crafting any cell phone ban is the need to make sure that the ban does not violate the provisions of the federal Individuals with Disabilities Education Act and Section 504 of the Federal Rehabilitation Act. Now, this will not be easy issues to address. While some students, protected under the federal laws, may have their cell phones, assisted technology, or apps written into an IEP or Section 504 plan as a necessary and related service, some blanket bans could remove the student's legal entitlement to those disability-related needs. And furthermore, if a student with a disability is actually able to use the phone in a place where the other students are banned from using the phone, the student with the disability may feel ashamed and singled out, harassed because of using it, or reluctant to use the phone, which would also adversely impact the disabled student's ability to succeed. This will be a very difficult issue to resolve. If you think my office may be assistance to you in legal matters, please call me for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer, the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
All right, Bob, that's a tough one on the cell phones.
It is.
When my son was in high school, the teachers there turned it around and said, all right, everyone get out your phones, and made them do research to find stuff. I said, well, that's a better way of using it rather than people trying to hide it. They actually brought them out into the front and said, well, what'd you find about this?
That's why Sue is so smart. She knows how to do. She
looks
looks
up
up everything. when Sue speaks, we know it is accurate.
Hey, last night, you say I look up everything. Yes, I do. I got mulch. Long story short, I don't like it. So I'm looking out my window, looking down and going, I wonder if you can spray paint mulch. So I pick up my
Wow.
phone. And yes, you can.
Yes, you can? Okay.
Yes, you can. And it will cost you less than half of what you paid for the new mulch.
But do you have to use special paint?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
There's mulch paint?
Yes.
Okay.
I was like, oh, my God.
I could have spray painted.
And somebody comes and spray paints your mulch?
No, you do it.
You
you
do-
can do it
Oh,
yourself.
It'd be cheaper to do it yourself.
You can do it yourself.
Very interesting.
Let me
What are you thinking,
see.
Bob?
I'm thinking that this is a
I'm gonna
week too
pull it
late
up.
A week too late?
because somebody, at the suggestion of their spouse, dragged heavy sacks of mulch and was spreading it around last weekend.
All right.
Yippee hi ho!
Hey, I
What'd you
did
find,
that.
Sue?
And what the problem is, hold on, I'm going to put in a local store. What the problem is with the bags, I bought red. The bags had dark brown, some of them. That's not what I wanted.
I see.
So I
You
had
spray
to.
painted them.
No, I didn't yet.
Oh, okay.
I didn't realize they came in different colors. We had
Oh,
a hard
yeah.
time finding the mulch to start with, and got the only one they had.
I have it delivered and I spread it myself, but I have it delivered.
Well, I used to do that, but they don't use the same product that I used to use. I
Oh,
used
I
to
get
get a burgundy red.
Yeah.
They don't do it anymore. So next year, I'm either going to A, find a new place, or B, get the spray.
And and spray paint your mulch. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm
As
working
long as
on
you're
it.
not
All
spray
right.
painting buildings, we're good.
Right?
Man, we got a message in 766-1240. Just you got tonight. There's a special budget hearing.
Correct.
Just what's going on with that?
So it's a public comment hearing, a public hearing for people to come and ask questions concerning the budget. It's really not a back and forth question and answer. It's, we basically take them questions down and we'll get back to people. And I'm thinking we could answer the questions on the website also in case people want to see it that way. I mean, if it's a simple question, we can answer it. But, you know, in my experience, not a lot of people come to the public hearing. I think last year we were there for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You would think more people would come and be involved. But if you want to, you know, ask some questions about the budget, tonight's the night, 7 o'clock, 3rd floor, City Hall. You're welcome to come and
Right in Harris Hall.
Harris Hall.
Okay. And you'll be there.
I will be there.
Okay. Well, and you brought up briefly when you're down at Channel 12, the 2023 audit and the 2024 audit. Where do things stand?
23 audit is done. 24 audit is most of the work. I'd say 90% of the work is done on our end and the school department's end. And, you know, no new surprises with the 23 audit. It is what it is. Nothing earth-shattering. You know, we're going to, as we've said, and I've said many times, we're going to change the way we do things. We're going to get more technology savvy, if you will, on how we do things in the finance department. We still have out an RFP for a finance director. We've had some people that we've interviewed. I may be doing a second interview with one individual next week. But it's challenging to find somebody in that role that has governmental finance experience. There are a lot of people that apply that, you know, from banking institutions and whatnot, which is fine. But to have somebody that really did this, we have a couple of people that were auditors that have applied. And that aspect of being an auditor is fine, but I can't go down the road that I did last time. When I thought we had the right person, we interviewed to the best of our ability, and then it kind of went south. So I don't want to go down that road again.
Must be a very small pool of that have that kind of.
It is, and even though we upped the salary to 150,000 from 110, you still we got more applicants, but they're not qualified, if you will. So we're still vetting that through, and we are where we are, but we'll continue to, you know, research and do what we can.
It's tough to learn on the job. You want them already to know.
It is, and you know, my acting interim finance director, Chris Chamberlain, who's been there 30 years plus, is doing a great job. But it's a lot of work for one or two people to get all that stuff done. The budget is done. We'll have council input at the next meeting, and we'll go from there.
How has the school committee seen what the budget is for them? Are they okay with it?
You know, they asked for a 4% increase, which obviously we can't do because we don't have the finance, the revenue to do that. They understand that. But, you know, I meet with them every 2 weeks, and we continue to have dialogue on, you know, where they're going and where we're going, and it's been very productive.
Okay. So the special hearing for the budget is tonight, 7 o'clock at Harris Hall. All right. You mentioned a little earlier that you participated in the George Nasuti Pride 5K, which was also on Memorial Day.
Yep.
And so did you finish?
I did.
Oh, good for you.
I finished under 55 minutes, but I walked. I walked with the public safety director, Gino Gillette.
Okay. But you were encouraged to run at the end, and you said no.
I was encouraged to run the last 50 yards, but I said I'm not pulling a muscle if I, you know, for the last 50
if I can help
feet.
it.
Yeah. But it's a great event. It's, you know, and as I said.
Well attended this year.
Well attended, over 300
Members,
people.
yeah.
George was a pillar of this community. He worked with the kids. He was a teacher. He was a coach. He was a guidance advisor. Did a lot of things for the youth of the city of Woonsocket. His wife, Carol, is great in promoting this every year. And I think it was the 11th year that we've done it since George's passing. A lot of kids, a lot of the teams came out, youngsters from the high school. So it was good to see the youth continuing. And again, a lot of those young kids don't know who George Nasuti was.
Right. Yeah.
So to keep his legacy going, we promote and we talk about what he did and how valuable he was, and he'll never be forgotten.
So you didn't come in last, right?
I didn't. I didn't come in last, but if I did, so what?
That's right. You finished. That's the important
Finished
part.
it. And
All
they
right.
raised a lot of money for the athletic department, which is the main driver of that 5K walk run.
All right, great. All right, we're going to take another break here in the Coffee and program, so we're going to switch things back over to Bob for a second message from the attorney Bob Lauder's law office.
Thank you. Good morning. This is Attorney Bob Lauder. When I mentioned to my legal assistant, Yuli, that I needed some ideas for this morning's commercial, she suggested that in light of the discovery of the time capsule at McCoy Stadium demolition site, that I should be talking about baseball. I'm not sure, but this may have been an ambush.
I did not put her up to this.
Here goes. One of the most interesting cases in Rhode Island involving baseball concerns the memorabilia of baseball and not the actual game. And it's the case of Stewart versus Stewart and was decided in the Superior Court back in 2012. The case involved an extensive collection of baseball cards, bats signed by Ted Williams, Roberto Clemente, Mickey Mantle, Hank Aaron, Joe DiMaggio, Sandy Koufax, and others, along with a World Series ring, a Cleveland Indians watch, and signed photographs of players. All of this assembled by Grandpa Stewart while he was a major league umpire. In about 1980, Grandpa, who was in declining health, held a family party in which he told the gathering that he was giving the memorabilia collection to his son. The collection had been stored in Grandpa's basement, and after receiving the collection, the son took the collection to his home in New Hampshire. When he got home, the son put some of the collection into the bedroom of his own son, the grandson of Grandpa, along with a few more baseballs inscribed to grandson. Grandson went off to college and left the collection in the family home. The son, that is the father of the grandson, appears to have been having some marital troubles at the time, and in 1984 he wrote a letter to grandson telling him that the baseball collection was his. In 1989, grandson moved out of the family home and took the collection with him. Thereafter, grandson and his father and the father's wife all operated an antique shop, and the collection was stored in the basement of the shop. Later, in the basement of the father's wife. And then, thereafter, the father built a showcase in his recreation room and displayed the collection there for the remainder of father's life. Then there arose a dispute as to the ownership of the collection. After the father died, was it the property of the grandson or the wife of the father? And of course there was no last will and testament. The issue became, had father given the collection to grandson? Superior Court ruled, it's well established that a claimant has the burden of establishing a gift, inter vivos, by clear and satisfactory evidence. Inter vivos means a gift and not an inheritance. To satisfy this burden, the claimant must prove that the donor intended to divest him or herself of the exclusive ownership and control of the property. A mere intention to give a gift, however clearly expressed, amounts to nothing. In addition to proving the present and true donative intent on the part of the donor, the claimant must also prove delivery. And where there is no evidence of actual delivery, there must be such a delivery as the nature and situation reflect that the donor has put it in the power of the donee to take possession without committing trespass. But mere possession of the subject gift, or the lack of possession, has not been considered in itself necessarily controlling on the issue of donative intent. Possession is but one piece of evidence in shedding light upon the intentions of the parties. Possession is to be considered with all the facts and circumstances and evidence of determining the donor's true intent and the existence of the completed gift. In this case, the court found that Grandpa had given the collection to his son. There was never any intention on the part of Grandpa to give the collection or any part of it to son's wife. The court found that the letter which father wrote to his own son, the grandson, memorialized the gift to the grandson. While it's true that the grandson returned part of the collection to his father's home, and it remained there until father's death, there was no evidence that grandson relinquished control over the collection back to father, and the court concluded that the collection belonged to the grandson. Oh, and I also explained to Yulia all of the facts surrounding the historic longest professional baseball game back in April of 1981. How accurate were my facts? Who knows? But Yulia wasn't there to challenge my recollections. If you'd like to discuss legal matters with me, please call my office for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. The disclaimer, the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license to certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
Hey, I
Well,
agree.
now we know why he knew exactly
about it.
when the
Longest game was. All right. It all
There had
comes
to be
out.
something else going on with that one.
Hey, I agree with the court.
Good.
It's the grandson's property,
Good.
and so I'm glad he won on this. Though I do question all the memorabilia he had. I hope it was all authenticated.
I don't. It doesn't say anything.
He had the big players.
Well,
for
he'd
stuff.
been a
umpire.
major league umpire.
Yeah.
So he'd actually had physical contact
Yeah.
with these guys, and they probably autographed it and did it right there for him in person.
All right, because the only thing I questioned is because he said signed baseball bats from these people, and one of the people you mentioned was Sandy Koufax, and he was a pitcher. He wouldn't sign a baseball bat.
Well,
he would sign a baseball.
When I read the article, it seemed to say that he signed the bat, but
But he did bat in those
Okay.
days, right? There was no
Well,
de-
yeah, because there was no
he had to.
designated hitter, but I don't ever remember hearing him being a good hitter back in the day. Anyway, all right, more of Coffee Ends coming your way. Please stick around.
ON Radio.
Hi, this is Leia Pfeiffer.
And this is Alex Kipnis.
We're organizers on the planning committee for Woonsocket Pride, and we're so excited to invite you to the Woonsocket Pride Festival on Sunday, June 8th, from 12 to 6 p.m. at River Island Art Park.
The day will be packed with music and drag performances, speeches, food trucks and vendors, tables for local organizations, a performance with the flags, and a ton of other activities.
Follow us at Woonsocket Pride on all socials to learn more. We hope to see you there.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to goodrx.com/GLP. That's goodrx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
At Straight Talk, we are all about no-brainers. Calling Grandma for her recipe, no-brainer. Streaming one more episode at 2 a.m., big no-brainer. Getting real unlimited data where you buy bananas, the ultimate no-brainer. Switch now and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2025 with select plans. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 7/2025. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store activation of single line gold unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com/terms. Copyright 2025 Verizon.
Hi, this is Leia Pfeiffer.
And this is Alex Kipnis.
We're organizers on the planning committee for Woonsocket Pride, and we're so excited to invite you to the Woonsocket Pride Festival on Sunday, June 8th, from 12 to 6 p.m. at River Island Art Park.
The day will be packed with music and drag performances, speeches, food trucks and vendors, tables for local organizations, a performance with the flags, and a ton of other activities.
Follow us at Woonsocket Pride on all socials to learn more. We hope to see you there.
ON Radio.
It's Coffee Ann here on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan along with Bob Lauder, Sue Tesher McKenzie, and Woonsocket Mayor Christopher Beauchamp. I'm going to say this as a public service announcement. It's starting tomorrow. The concert season begins in Mansfield. So in case you're making a trip down to the Cape and you want to go down 495, please look for the concert schedule so you can either change your schedule so you don't get caught in concert traffic. Friday is the first concert of the season, and they're opening up the lots at 2 in the afternoon. And it's from that very famous band. Ready? Pierce the Veil.
Okay.
I'm going to hum a few tunes. My daughter knows them, thinks they're great. I've never heard of these people. However, it's a sellout. So, other people have.
I'm just glad the Glenn Miller Orchestra is coming
Glenn
to the
Miller.
stadium.
And Wayne Newton.
That's
Good,
right. That's
good.
right. Wayne Newton's coming. That's right. So, but if you're heading down to the Cape on the weekend, just always take a look at what the Xfinity Center schedule is, so you can try to avoid if you're going down 495.
Now, your house is within hearing distance of the concert.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So you're going to be able to enjoy this even if you don't, sneak in through the back fence.
It all depends on how loud they are, and
Okay.
some are louder than others. So
Does Pierce the Veil have a...
I don't know because I've never heard them, so I don't know how loud they're going to be.
Hearing
right.
Bob say Pierce the
Veil. Crack
Wasn't that the name of this?
Crack, that is the name of the band. Yeah.
Okay.
So it just crack Sue up.
Oh, okay.
I was there with my daughter when she was in high school with 5 of her friends. We went to see Rage Against the Machine.
Oh, that's another loud band.
My hearing's just come back.
That's funny.
But I've told the story before, Chris. I don't know if you've heard it. I'm sitting in my house one summer night. It's 10:30 at night. I'm watching whatever's on TV, but outside the window, I said, "Who's playing Poison in their car so loud?" And I looked outside. There were no cars. It was them.
Yeah. Wow.
That's how loud they were playing. That I could. They were loud, and Pearl Jam was loud, and I could hear them singing their songs as well. So usually it's not that loud. But I can hear the crowd a lot better usually than the bands.
Yeah.
The cheering it just goes up. I can hear that a lot better because the crowd actually faces me.
Okay.
The bands face in the other direction. So, all right. So just.
Are you inviting us all down there for the cookout that you're going to have?
You want to hang out in the driveway and listen? Sure.
Yeah. Free band, free concert.
I do have people that do that go to the shows in the summertime.
Mhm.
I get calls. Joe, can we park in your driveway?
Sure. I'm sure, yeah.
It's a Chris. It's a 1 mile walk, so you can do it. You can do it in 20 minutes, and
you collect money for this.
And no, I'm very nice. No, you can do it for free.
Wait.
Although some people
You're
do give me
nice
beer.
and do it for free.
So I have been given a 6-pack before.
They come back and give you their leftovers.
We'll bring a gift if we pop there.
But it actually works out well because if you go to the show, and you must remember this from going to see Rage Against the Machine, Chris.
Yeah.
How long were you in the parking lot afterwards?
A couple hours.
There you go. If you
it's
park in my
awful.
if you park in my driveway, okay.
You'll beat that traffic just
Well,
walking away.
it's about a 10-minute walk from your seat to the road, and then it's about another 20-minute walk. So figure half an hour you'll be in your car and going home, as opposed to being stuck in traffic.
You're gonna have to give me your address.
Okay.
I don't. If we're parking his drive, he should have limo service for us to get from the
Well,
driveway
the
to the
limos
Oh, my
don't
God.
get priority. Just saying.
Oh,
We've
no?
been in they have a limo lot.
They do well,
Let me tell you,
but to drop people off.
you don't. That's
Okay.
the problem.
Because I've seen signs up: limos, taxis, ride share.
Right.
Pull in here.
Dropping off
Dropping
is
off,
one thing,
yeah.
but people are paying you by the hour, so you need to be there. And they had a specific limo lot for you to park in, but you were just stuck there with everybody else.
Oh, okay.
They didn't do a special, like some places will have
Limo exit,
Yeah,
right, to
a
get out.
specific
Mm-hmm.
limo exit. Even Foxborough, I'll never forget. We used to spend say $20. It went up to $100.
Wow.
Like, last week it was only 20. This week it's 100, kind of thing. Yeah.
Wow.
Across the street from me is a car repair shop. We used to have it in town. New England Tire, remember New England Tire used to be in town? Well, there's a New England Tire there. And I've seen limos park in their parking lot because by the
Really?
time they get there, New England Tire is closed and everyone's going home.
Exactly.
They put up a sign that says no concert parking, but
But
no
if
one
you
really...
if a limo's there, you're still sitting in your car.
They're right, and they will
So-
sit there for the entire show. And then, but then I don't know, around 10:45, shows usually end around 11. There they go. They go back to try to pick up their people. So.
Now, back in the day, I know you could still do pickup and drop-offs, but it became an issue for some reason with the limos. Again, that was, almost 20 years ago.
Yeah,
that we
I still
were
think
doing
they
it.
have a pick up and drop off lane because there's a lot of parents that will
Well,
just
of
drop
course, there should be.
pick them up. I don't know. I have no idea where the parents go after that. Maybe probably go and get something to eat or something and wait.
Yeah, there were
All
a
right.
couple of places up the road that we used to go to.
All right.
Yeah, but
Chris.
Joe is going to be having
He's having a
frankfurters and
cookout,
beans
yeah,
in his
next-
yard.
I don't offer food. No, it's
Well,
BYOF. Bring your own food.
BYO everything.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
All right, Chris. Coming up on next week, they're going to have we get the Pride celebration on June 8th.
Yes.
On the Wednesday before, on June 4th, we get the flag raising ceremony. You'll be speaking at that.
Yes, we have the flagpole is up on the gazebo building. We'll be putting the flag up that day and recognizing Pride Month of June. I also want to mention, as we're talking about music, the 11 Amp series.
That also starts in June. Yeah.
That's starting
June 13th.
first June 13th.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And the park, the stage will be ready. They're putting the sod as we speak today.
Mm-hmm.
So everything will be cleaned up, landscaped, and ready to go. And it's looking great down there for the new stage for the 11 Amp series.
You should go to those, Bob. Those are free.
Well,
You don't have to
Great.
worry about parking at my house for that.
Joe, when you started to say about the kick, the starting tomorrow, that's where I thought you were going with it. I thought you were going to be talking about the local, not Mansfield.
Well, I'm just for those people that like to drive
Yeah, right,
to
no,
the
but I
Cape,
thought that's
it
what you
might
were
interfere with them.
referencing at
Okay.
first.
Has anyone ever been caught in Xfinity Center traffic on 495?
No, I
No?
can't say I have.
No. Okay. Well, it all depend on the depends
timing.
on the show,
Yeah. Timing,
and who's
yeah.
coming. But yeah, it can get ugly on 495.
Can we go back one question?
Yeah.
The flagpole and the gazebo. I must be living in another town. Where's
So
this
right
located?
across from River Falls, the big brick.
Right.
I call it a gazebo. It's probably
Okay.
not the proper word. That was put up by the DOT 20 years ago.
Right.
Market
we have
Square,
a-
Bob.
Yeah.
Market Square. And we have a flagpole on one end of the building pointing towards River Falls that has the American flag.
Right.
And we just put up another flagpole on the building so we can celebrate
Great.
Gay
Pride
Pride Month or Veterans Day, Memorial Day, whatever flag that we want to put up, we'll have an area to put that up.
Great.
All right, that'll do it for the show for today. Thank you very much for listening in, everyone. Always appreciate it. Let's talk about Chris Beauchamp. Thanks for coming in.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And Sue Tesser McKenzie, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Have a good rest of the week.
And Bob, thanks for staying with us today.
Thank you for being with us, and great to have the mayor here.
Yes.
Thanks.
All right, this is Joe Callahan. We'll talk again at 2 this afternoon. Stay tuned for Gary Smith of the crew. Do you remember is coming up after the 9 o'clock news on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news.